Believe it or not, eels are also caught in the ocean. When most people think of eels, they immediately think of the slippery eels in ponds or tanks, often carefully cared for in artificial conditions. But few people know that far out at sea, amidst the salty water and rolling waves, there is also a species of eel that lives and is caught by fishermen as a unique delicacy. It may sound strange, but sea eels do exist, and they are not like what you might think of as farmed eels. Do you know what the difference is between sea eels and farmed eels? Read on to find out. You might be surprised. Fishing for eels at sea requires fishermen to use special cages, usually long cylinders instead of nets like other fish. Because eels have the habit of hiding and prefer narrow and dark spaces, tube-shaped cages will stimulate them to crawl inside more easily. Before each trip, fishermen must prepare dozens, even hundreds of such cages to drop into the sea and patiently wait for the eels to find their way in. The eel trap at sea is a long tube with a one-way door. Inside is a bait with a fishy smell to attract the eels. Eels have a habit of hiding in dark, narrow places so they can easily crawl into the cage but cannot escape thanks to the narrow funnel design. This method is simple but very effective. Once the cages are full of eels, the fishermen quickly pull the cages out of the water and pour the eels into water tanks placed on the boat to keep them alive until they reach the shore. After being transferred from the boat to the shore, the eels are quickly placed in specialized mesh bags, then lifted onto trucks or taken to storage near the port. The entire process takes place urgently and synchronously to ensure that the eels remain fresh, ready for the next stages of processing and preparation at the factory. The bags of eel are then put on the conveyor belt, where workers work quickly and skillfully to clean the eel, preparing it for the next processing steps. In the processing area, the eels are put through a rigorous cleaning process. First, workers cut open the belly and remove the internal organs, then wash them several times with cold water to remove the characteristic mucus on the skin. Eel marinade is usually boiled with water, salt, mirin, and ginger, then cooled before soaking the eel to preserve the fresh flavor and tenderize the meat. A part of the cleaned eel will be put directly into the cooking process, helping to preserve the natural flavor and freshness of the product. The eel pieces, after being cut and processed, are neatly arranged according to standard quantities in each box. In addition to the convenient canned eel product, the manufacturer also developed a whole piece of sauced eel, preserving every piece of firm and fresh meat of the eel. Through the elaborate marinating process, each piece of eel is soaked in special spices, mixed with a smooth sauce, with a slightly spicy, sweet taste, and a characteristic strong aroma. Each piece of sauced eel, when eaten, is soft and rich, making the diner unable to resist the feeling of craving, especially when eaten with a bowl of hot white rice, making the meal more complete and attractive than ever. Jamón ibérico, also known as Iberian ham, is one of the finest and most iconic delicacies of Spanish cuisine. More than just a type of cured meat, it is the result of a unique breed of pig, a meticulous curing process, and an aging period that can last from several months to years. With its rich, nutty flavor, delicate marbling, and melt-in-your-mouth texture, Jamón ibérico captivates not only European gourmets, but also food lovers around the world. In this video, we'll explore its origins, traditional production methods, and the proper way to enjoy it, to understand why Jamón ibérico is often referred to as the black gold of Spanish gastronomy. To produce the rich, flavorful, and highly prized slices of Jamón ibérico, everything begins with a special breed of pig known as the Iberico pig. These pigs are raised in vast oak forest pastures called dehesas, a traditional semi-wild ecosystem unique to Spain. Throughout the autumn season, known as the Montanera, from October to March, the pigs are completely free-range, allowed to roam and forage at will. Each day, they consume up to 7 to 10 kilograms of acorns, along with wild grasses and herbs. Unlike industrial farming models, Iberico pigs' weight gain occurs slowly and naturally, relying entirely on their natural diet and constant physical activity. At the end of the montonera, the pigs are checked for health, weight, and quality to ensure they meet strict standards before being cured into jamón ibérico. After montonera ends, selected Iberico pork legs that meet quality standards are transported to the processing facility. There, each ham is labeled with a unique code, undergoes an initial quality check and classification, and is temporarily stored in cold chambers to stabilize its internal temperature. Once processing begins, the hams are removed from storage and salted, usually with pure sea salt, for a period of 1 to 2 weeks, depending on their weight. This step helps draw out excess moisture, acts as a natural preservative, and begins forming the signature flavor. Next, the hams are moved to drying rooms or natural curing chambers, where temperature and airflow are carefully controlled. This stage can last anywhere from 6 months to over 2 years, depending on the type of final product. Throughout this time, expert jamón curers regularly inspect each ham by smelling, pressing, and assessing the internal texture, ensuring it meets strict standards for aroma, tenderness, moisture level, and flavor. When the curing process reaches perfection, the jamon iberico legs are carefully removed from the curing chambers. At this stage, they have developed a rich flavor, a tender texture, and a clear layer of fat evenly distributed throughout the meat fibers. The hams are then transferred to the packaging area, where a strict and precise process is carried out to preserve the product's quality. Depending on the product type, the jamon is vacuum-packed to ensure optimal preservation, extend shelf life, and facilitate transportation and consumption. The remaining parts, such as the shoulder, pork belly, soft fat, and lean trimming, are fully utilized to create flavorful fresh sausages that reflect local culinary traditions, such as Morgan sausage or longanisa. The meat and fat are finely ground in a well-balanced ratio to preserve natural juiciness and richness. The mixture is then seasoned with signature spices, such as pepper, garlic, brown sugar, vinegar, or herbs, depending on the recipe, and stuffed into natural casings or collagen skins using a sausage stuffer. The sausages can be shaped in various ways. Longanisa is typically divided into small links and tied by hand, while Morgan sausages are usually left in longer, hot dog-like forms. Once prepared, the sausages can optionally be lightly smoked or air-dried to extend shelf life and add a deeper, more distinctive flavor. At this stage, the sausage casing becomes firmer, infused with a smoky aroma, and the product can be stored longer than typical fresh sausages. The entire journey of growing tobacco plants begins with the sowing of seeds. The seeds are sown into plastic trays with small holes, which are pre-filled with a specialized growing medium, usually a mix of loose soil and organic compost. These trays are then floated on the surface of water in dedicated ponds or planting tanks. When the seedlings grow bigger, before being transplanted to the field, the tops and upper leaves are lightly trimmed using a cutting machine. Next comes the stage of transplanting the seedlings to the main field. The soil for growing tobacco is usually well prepared into raised beds, with lime and decomposed manure added in advance. Each seedling is planted by hand into evenly spaced holes, ensuring that every plant has enough room to grow freely. Throughout the growing period, the plants need regular care, timely watering, thorough weeding, and the removal of lower leaves or side shoots to help concentrate nutrients in the main leaves. After about 60 to 90 days from planting, the tobacco leaves begin to mature and can be harvested. The older leaves at the bottom of the plant turn dark green, become thick, and are no longer soft. When the leaves have a characteristic aroma and are free from pests and diseases, on several hectares of planting area, machinery is used to harvest instead of manual labor, significantly saving time and effort. Mechanization not only improves efficiency, but also ensures the leaves are harvested evenly, minimizing losses and preserving the quality of the product before it enters the next processing stage. Tobacco leaf harvesters are usually specialized machines designed to be compact and flexible, making it easy to move between the rows of plants. These machines feature an automatic cutting system with sharp blades that quickly and evenly cut the leaves. After the tobacco leaves are cut, they are immediately loaded into specialized transport carts for quick delivery to the processing factory. Timely collection and transportation help preserve the freshness and quality of the leaves, preventing damage or loss of their characteristic aroma before entering the next stage of processing. At the factory, the bales of tobacco leaves are brought into the raw material receiving area, where technicians conduct an initial quality inspection of each batch. They assess the color, dryness, and aroma of the leaves and check for any signs of mold, damage, or substandard quality. Once the leaves meet the required standards for moisture and overall quality, they are transferred to the coarse grinding line. In this stage, the leaves are fed into large shredding machines to tear them apart and remove the tough stems. After that, the shredded leaves are sent to the fine grinding machine, where they are thoroughly processed into tobacco strands with specific length, size, and fluffiness. Next comes the shaping and cigarette rolling stage. The tobacco strands are evenly distributed according to a standard ratio and fed into an automated rolling system. Here, the tobacco is wrapped in special cigarette paper and cut into individual cigarettes with uniform length and diameter. The automated machinery ensures each cigarette contains a consistent amount of tobacco and maintains a precise shape, providing a stable and satisfying smoking experience for users. Once rolled, the finished cigarettes move on to the packaging line. On this line, sensor systems and cameras inspect each cigarette individually, detecting even the smallest defects, such as insufficient filling, misaligned paper, or incorrect length. The cigarettes that meet all standards are packed into small boxes, typically containing 20 cigarettes each. These boxes are then sealed with anti-counterfeit stamps, shrink-wrapped for protection, and printed with full brand labeling and regulatory information.